Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pretty Real Persona. I'm your host, Ariana, baby. What is up? I missed you guys. I know you guys see me every week, but I miss you guys. So today's episode is about something that we often try to avoid, but we need. And today is about learning how to sit with our emotions. And that is such a really big thing for just emotional maturity, especially just as an adult. Like that is a very big, very big, very big topic we're going to touch on today. First, I want to start off with a soul check. Put in the comments, how's your week been? What's been heavy for you this week? What's been light for you? For me, I think what's been heavy for me this week is I am such a self-growth girly. Like I'm such a okay, I want to make sure I'm doing everything to be the best version of myself. So for me, I feel like I'm always putting pressure on myself to be the best version of myself and to get this done, and not enough pressure on resting and recharging myself. So I think that's what's been heavy for me this week. Like I think I'm on the brink of feeling some burnout. Over the weekend I'm just going to relax. Like that's me. Like it's hard for me to relax during the week because I have work, and then after work it's like you only got 4 hours or so before it's like you need to go to sleep to go back to work the next day. So that boo. So yeah, I think that's what's heavy for me this week. And then also, side note, you guys like my glasses? I got like 3 pair of glasses, new glasses, because I was tired of wearing the same glasses. And let me give you a pro tip. So go to the eye doctor and ask them for what your lenses are. If you wear glasses, go to the eye doctor, get your prescription, and order from a different place. Because look at my glasses, aren't they super cute? And they're prescripted and they have blue light. Like these are super cute. I have 2 other pairs that are super cute too, but these are fire. Anyways, I want to start off with okay, so what does it mean to sit with your emotions? Sitting with your emotions means when you feel something, like whether you feel like crying, you feel angry, you feel sad, like when you feel that, literally just take a deep breath and sit down and let yourself feel that. Emotions last for 10 to 15 seconds if you actually sit down and feel them. Like, don't try to rush yourself through the emotion or push the emotion aside. Just literally sit down and um, feel that emotion, feel through that emotion, accept that, okay, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling sad, and I just need to sit down and feel this. And some things that can help is coming up with things that you do to help you get through feeling sad or get through feeling angry, or get through feeling, irritated, annoyed. For me, I think it just helps to just sit down and or to journal. Like I'm such a big journaler. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Journal. I'll sit down and I'll write out, how I'm feeling. And that's me kind of sitting with it and addressing my feelings is I'll write it out. Cause sometimes it's hard for me to use my words to say how I'm feeling or how it's making me feel. So sometimes I can journal it out and then I'm able to talk about it. And or if I sit down and intentionally verbally process and speak out what I'm thinking. And the another big thing is to not judge yourself for your emotions. Emotions are opinions. Everyone has one. Everyone has them. So yeah, don't try to avoid them or escape them, because they only just go away for that moment. They always come back, resurface back. So it's better to just sit through them, accept that you're feeling like this, and sit with them until they pass, or just really process what you're feeling, why you're feeling. The best step honestly is to feel why are you feeling like this, especially if it's something that is very intense emotion on you. So that's what it means to sit with your emotions, is to basically accept that you're feeling like this, to feel through them, literally sit and take a deep breath and just sit in that emotion for until it passes. And a lot of times when you will dwell on an emotion, that makes it last longer. So it's that's why I say try to journal if you can, because I feel like that helps you get through them. And there's other things you can do to like get through them, talking to somebody who you feel like may understand you, or understand how you're feeling. That's how you can work through them, get through them. I also want to talk about like what are the reasons why we numb, avoid, or distract ourselves from sitting in our emotions and feeling everything that we're supposed to feel in the moments. If you try to like, honestly, you are healthily that's, is that a word? um you are processing your emotions health in a healthy way if you process them when they hit you. Like if you cry when you feel like crying, and when you dismiss that urge, it just goes down. And then when something happens, it could even not be as big as the times that you dismissed it, but like, crying is a release, and it's a healthy release. It's so healthy to cry. Like, and you should cry. You're processing your emotions in a healthy way, or consistently processing your emotions healthy, is when you are able to feel an emotion, and literally like you're able to just sit with it, feel it, and know that, okay, this is going to pass. I do feel like this. Always be mindful of the fact that your feelings are always valid. How you feel is always valid, but actions that come with your emotions, you have to be mindful of your actions, because your actions that you do that go along with your feelings are not valid, are not always valid. Especially if it's like, you're doing crazy things. Once you have emotions, like anger can spark some crazy things. So it's like, be mindful of those kind of things. That your feelings are always valid, but the actions that you do when you're feeling those things are not always valid. Reasons why we try to numb ourselves and distract ourselves is because it's way easier than facing how we actually feel. It's way easier than sitting in an emotion that is so uncomfortable for us. So it's easier for us to numb it, or to be distracted, or avoid how we're feeling. When it comes to numbing how you feel, the feeling of being numb actually just means you're like extremely overwhelmed. So if you've ever felt like you have like a blank stare when you're feeling something, or you just, it's something there that's heavy, but you like can't kind of put your finger on what you're feeling, and you'll describe that as like feeling numb. And a lot of times that's because you're extremely overwhelmed by every single thing that you're feeling. You're probably feeling more than one thing, which is also a valid thing. We feel more than one thing at one time. Like, you could be irritated and annoyed, but know like, oh, okay, I know I could have did better in the situation too. Like, those are like three different things that are kind of going. So it's like, emotions can be complex, but it's like when you get to the bottom of them, um, it really helps. So that's when you're numb. And then when you're trying to avoid and distract yourself, um, a lot of these things are from growing up or living in survival mode. A lot of these, like, if these are your default, like the first thing you do when you're feeling anything, or feeling like hard, uncomfortable feelings, that's honestly like survival mode conditioning. In some ways we can avoid or distract ourselves is by, say you're having uncomfortable feelings, or having uncomfortable conversation with someone, and you're changing the subject, or you change your attention to something else really quick. Like, those are like examples of how you could be, avoiding or distracting yourself during uncomfortable moments, or when you're experiencing an uncomfortable or emotion that you need to honestly, sit and dive into. I definitely think like, it's okay to like take a break when you don't know what you're feeling, because you feel like you might just say anything, and that can be hurtful to whoever you're talking to, or hurtful to yourself. And all of these things are, we all experience some of these things. Some of us have different ways we do it, or like, not everyone, will be numb in uncomfortable conversations, or like, try to avoid or distract, but we all have some form of something that we do when we're trying not to sit with our emotions. When it comes to feeling discomfort, when you're feeling certain emotions like sadness, anger, and shame, which, just to touch on like sadness, anger, and shame a little bit, like, Unprocessed sadness turns into depression. So if you ever notice, like, okay, something's happened in your life and you're sitting and dwelling in that sadness, or you're not processing what's making you feel sad, or just even speaking about the sadness that you feel inside. If you notice, if you're someone who like often like kind of like seeps into depression every once in a while, or maybe often, um it could be just from you not like fully processing the sadness that you feel. And also, sadness and anxiety run together. So you could just be an anxious person who doesn't know how to deal with their anxiety, so that could be another thing as well. Anger unprocessed turns into aggression, which is dangerous because it can like prompt you to hurt yourself or hurt someone else when you're angry. So it's like it's really important to process anger in healthy ways. And a lot of, I will say, like, there's a lot of us walking around who really do not know how to process or redirect our anger. And it can be just very hurtful, the impact that it has on others. Some ways to like redirect your anger is to, walk away, take a walk, and um, calm yourself down, take deep breaths, meditation, journaling while you're mad. I also think it's a healthy thing to not like, when you're mad, I do think that you should like take time to yourself until you calm down. Because I know, me personally, a boundary for me, I don't let anyone talk to me mad. Like, you can be mad, but you have to compose yourself. You're not going to yell at me. You're not going to, do anything I feel like you're getting aggressive, like, I'm done talking. I it's a boundary for me. If I feel like someone is, yelling at me or doing anything like that, I am going to remove myself from the situation, because that's that's just my boundary, my personal boundary of what I'm going to allow someone to do to me, or in a ways I'm going to allow someone to treat me. So shame unprocessed can lead to low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, unhealthy patterns. So it's like, shame is a really big thing to process. Shame is one of the hardest things to feel. Feeling shame, ashamed of something that you've done or something that you do. Um, and it is a hard thing to feel shame, or to allow yourself to feel shame, because of how heavy shame feels and uncomfortable shame is, and to take accountability for, you know, that feeling of shame. For me, like, I think my life kind of, I had a kind of like a spiritual awakening, or kind of like I became more emotionally mature once I learned how to deal with shame. And it really just took me taking accountability for, why am I ashamed of what I've done, and speaking it out loud, and even, speaking to the person I feel like I should have been ashamed of things that I've done or did to them. So telling them, apologizing, taking accountability in every way possible that I can. And then I feel like I kind of got through that shame. But it's like, a lot of people are walking around not processing or feeling shame, and it's allowing them to, do the same fucked up thing to the next person and the next person and the next person, or to um is the reason why they have super low self-esteem or super low self-confidence. That word, when they're compensating that feeling of shame in other ways. So shame is a really big thing to process, and I know from personal experience how hard shame is to process. If you're someone trying to process shame that you feel, definitely get in that journal, baby. Actually, run to the journal. I'm not kidding you. Shame, that's a hard one. Easily anxiety, easily seep into a depression, easily just avoid it or just keep pushing it down, but still, but creating a pattern of unhealthy behavior that you're continuing to push on to someone else, or the next person. Yeah. So it's very important to process, especially sadness, anger, and shame. Like, to become a more emotionally mature person and to be a healthy person and to honestly reach the best version of yourself, to live and sit in your authenticity, like sitting with your emotions and learning to feel through them, accepting yourself for them, and being present, and knowing that emotions are not a weakness. Emotion is your strength. It takes a lot of strength to be able to sit with and process your emotions, and we're all supposed to. Emotional maturity is priceless. Emotional immaturity has a lot of us in a lot of fucked up situations where we're blaming other people. We're not taking accountability. We're not seeing. We're not having the self-awareness outside of ourselves, or um, even with ourselves. So it is very important to, like, sit with your emotions and really tune into yourself about how you're feeling and how anything outside of you is impacting you, or how the things that you are doing or the patterns that you have are affecting others emotionally. I think that once I learned more about my emotions, because I'm a Cancer, so we're very emotional. I mean, they try to put that on us. I'm not gonna lie to you. They be trying to put on us like, oh, Cancer super emotional, but really we're just like emotionally in tune. We're one of the most emotionally intelligent signs. Like, so it's like, imagine being the most emotionally intelligent sign around so many different signs that are unaware or not as emotionally intelligent. Mind you, I will put in a disclaimer there. For some of you that know an unhealed Cancer, that's a different story. I can't really speak to that part. I can only speak to my healed girlies and boilies. Not boilies, but boys, men, women. I can only speak to that, the healed versions. You're a person out there seeking to, become more, to get a hold or just have control over your emotions, because even that is hard, to control your emotions. It's very hard. And it's a skill that honestly we should teach kids, so that as an adult it's easier for a lot of us to control our emotions. Because one of the most important things about, just being authentic or being your best version of yourself, or just healing and transformation in general, is being able to control your emotions, to be emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent, to have self-awareness, taking self-responsibility for the things that you do, self-accountability, um, all of those things. And all of those things, help you deepen your self-love as well. I have an affirmation. I want to do a segment called Soul Snack, baby. I got a soul snack for you guys. I got a journal prompt and affirmation. The affirmation is, I am safe to feel. My emotions are not too much. They are messengers, not threats. I honor what's real inside of me without rushing to escape it. Say that like 3 times in front of your mirror, or just to yourselves whenever you feel like, you're trying to learn how to sit with your emotions, or you're sitting with your emotions. That's a good affirmation to say. I have a journal prompt for you guys to try to journal. Journal prompt is, when I try to avoid this feeling, what do I usually do instead? So write down like just a list of feelings, and then just think about, like, like it says, when I am trying to avoid this feeling, what do I usually do instead? And then just try to get to the bottom of that, of what you do when you're trying to avoid feelings, and then try to reverse that and teach yourself healthy ways to process your feelings. I think one of the most important things, if you don't take anything from this video, is to take away that reframing your mind to think that, my emotions tell me about myself. If anything, my emotions tell me more about myself and what's going on with me. And that's the reason why I should process them. And that's the reason why I should work through them and pay attention to them and nurture them. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. If you liked this episode, baby, like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, and tap in. Thank you guys for watching. I am your host, Ariana Reese, and catch us on Wednesday, babies. Catch us on the next episode. Bye, guys.